Hello, everybody. My name is Eric D. Johnson, also on the BrightShine, right here in the city of Memphis in the county of state Tennessee. Today, date, Sunday afternoon, October the 12th, 2025, time 2:35 p.m. First, I thank my family, my support for continued encouragement. I will continue to keep myself employed in the Memphis Tri-State area. I'll continue to further my education by studying being administrative with contract and marketing, trying to pursue my associate's degree. At the present time, I took a break and going to school. In the future, I will be going back to school. And I will continue to further my education. I continue to pursue my associate's degree in being administrative, contract and marketing, as well as other degrees. Now, I'm going to start my Facebook Live. Hello, everybody. My name is Eric D. Johnson, also on the BrightShine, right here in the city of Memphis in the county of state Tennessee. Today's date is Sunday afternoon, October the 12th, 2025, time 2:37 p.m. First, I thank my family, my support for your continued encouragement support. I'll continue to keep myself employed in the Memphis Tri-State area, continue to further my education. I'll continue to pursue my associate's degree in being administrative, contract, and marketing. At the present time, I took a break and going to school. In the future, I'm going to go back to school and further my education. I'm going to continue to study, continue to pursue my associate's degree in being administrative, contract, and marketing, as well as other degrees. Now, first, I want to say thank you to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, Son of God, for all the blessings and the guidance provides all with. Continue to pray about natural disasters. And continue to pray about wars that will continue to be fought. And continue to pray that there be peace. And just continue to pray without ceasing. Now, go continue to continue to talk about prehistoric religion, traditional, ancient African religion, indefinitely. If we need to go back and and review information, no problem. Such as the so-called Gnosticism. Don't know the origin. The PhDs at all the colleges and universities on this earth, on this globe, on this planet, they do not know the origin of Gnosticism. Period. So whatever you trying to say about some demiurge is a lie. You don't know the origin of it. So you can't say that's right. And any fool that will be stupid enough to victimize your own self, be self-destructive and destructive, you really is a damn fool. They don't know the origin of Gnosticism. And then to be a bigger fool with all this lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, and what else? I heard some, what they say, some binary, I mean, whatever you make up, all this ideology to be a negative influence on men, women, and children with some made up ideology. For example, New Age. Just make up anything. Just make it up. And go around being self-destructive and destructive. Trying to destroy wildlife, nature, the environment. Trying to destroy the North and South Pole. Being self-destructive and destructive with some made up ideology. And that includes fake polytheism, false polytheists, because that's what you is, a fake polytheist going around trying to espouse false polytheism. Being self-destructive and destructive. Trying to destroy the canines and the kittens and the felines, the cats and the dogs. Animal shelters all over the United States of America filled up to capacity. People victimizing the cats and the dogs. They don't even know the origin of Gnosticism. Don't even know the origin. See, that's the reason why the Catholic Church is right. When you go back to the history in Europe before Martin Luther, the Catholic Church is right not to put up that nonsense. St. Irenaeus, the Bishop of Lyon, together with St. Ignatius, the Bishop of Antioch, 5-volume book, Adversus Heresies, against heresies. The Catholic Church is right. You don't know the origin of Gnosticism. It's a heresy. It's a big lie. You don't know the origin of Gnosticism. St. Athanasius, the Bishop of Alexandria, organized the Bible. In his 39th Festal letter, Easter letter, in the year 369 AD, banned all non-Christian writing. That's the reason why he was right. You don't know the origin of Gnosticism. But you tried to claim all these lies you were telling about the Old Testament and the New Testament. And the so-called theologians. St. Athanasius, the Bishop of Alexandria, was right to destroy the Gnostic theologian writing. He's right. They don't know the origin of Gnosticism. St. Athanasius, the Bishop of Alexandria, right. He was right to go around and collect all them lies. You don't know the origin of Gnosticism. What you doing all that writing for? For no reason. You ain't gonna never talk about God. You don't even know the origin of it. What God you talking about? If that was right, the demiurge would have told you the origin. Ha! Why you had to throw that out there, Eric? Well, hell, you sitting up here talking about the demiurge is a clumsy God and claim that there's another God above that God. Well, that's the case. Well, the demiurge should have told you the origin of Gnosticism. Ha! How about that? That don't make sense. The hell if it don't. It do make sense. The PhD at college and university all over the world. Here it is, 2025. They still don't know the origin of Gnosticism. But you talking about the demiurge. And then said there was some other God above the demiurge. Man, get out of here. That's a lie. You don't know the origin of it. Do anybody, if there's anybody on this earth, on this globe, on this planet, you know the origin of Gnosticism? No. Well, you can take all that damn writing and throw that damn mess in the garbage. Because it's some junk. You don't need it. Because if that was the case, the demiurge would have told you. But see, you too damn stupid to see. That just your brain, like the PhD talking about cognition. You don't have the cognitive ability to comprehend. You don't have, just like the PhD said, the cognitive ability to comprehend. Need just gone on somewhere, because you ain't gonna do nothing but make me and others kill you. Because your ass gonna get killed. You're gonna get killed. I'm telling you. Just gotta do something about this damn police. Background check. Now here it is, I'm sitting in the city of Memphis. Now they got the damn task force in the city of Memphis. But like I said, man, hey, the PhD at colleges and universities all over the world, they do not know the origin of Gnosticism. Period. They don't know where it came from. And see, in the process of trying to find the origin of Gnosticism, what do you find? The Indo-European. Because we live on here on this earth. You got Eurasia, Europe and Asia. Eurasia. That's a lot of land. A lot of land. Then you got the continent of Africa. as well as Australia, New Zealand, stuff like that, islands and stuff like that. But the main thing, you got Asia and Europe and Africa. And then we'll look over here in North and South America and Central America. The origin of Gnosticism. They have not found the origin of Gnosticism. See, just like I said, the PhD at college and university all over the world, they do not know the exact origins of Gnosticism. So you be making up all kind of lies and don't even know the origin of it. Just like saying Gnosis, Gnostic. We don't even know that. That can't be right. You don't know the origin of it. That can't be right. You don't know the origin. Whatever the hell you trying to claim. Excuse me. It's just like claiming that the demiurge is flawed. You don't know the origin. So why you saying that? Claiming that there's a supreme being and then there's a flawed demiurge. You don't know the origin. You can't say nothing. Period. Excuse me. It's just like they were talking about syncretizing. And on the other hand, eclectic. You don't know the origin of Gnosticism. You don't know the origin of Gnosticism. You cannot syncretize. Because you don't know the origin. See, the Jews, they can talk about where it came from, what Judaism came from. The Catholic Church can talk about the origin of the Catholic faith. Because they know the history of the Catholic Church and the belief and the faith. They know the origin. They know the history. You can't syncretize. You can't syncretize. You cannot blend the damn dumb stuff you talking about with Judaism or the Catholic faith. Because you don't know the origin of what you're talking about. And even when you said eclectic, by being selected, you can't even do that. Because you don't know the origin. It's just like we were talking about dualism and claiming that the Gnostic is some kind of dual. You can't even say that. Excuse me. Because you don't know the origin. You can't even say that. You cannot make up lies and try to fit it in. You don't know the origin. They thought it was some big deal. Even before the Nag-Hammadi Library, those other codexes. The Askew Codex, the Berlin Codex, the Bruce Codex. They were found like before the 1900s. But the Nag-Hammadi Library, found in 1945. Supposed to have been some Nazis. You don't know the origin of Gnostic. Them stupid Gnostic theologians wasn't doing them, just making up stuff. St. Athanasius, the Bishop of Alexandria, was right. Was right. Was right and is right. To destroy that Gnostic text. He's right. You don't know the origin. The PhD at college and university all over this earth, over this globe, on this planet. They do not know the origin, but yet and still you claim the demiurge. What did the demiurge tell you? Did the demiurge tell you the origin? No. No. Did the supreme being above the demiurge? No. They don't know the origin of what you call it. And then trying to claim that it is Gnosticism. You don't know the origin. You don't know the origin. See, it's one thing that the Jews, they know. The Old Testament. Now I'm holding the Holy Bible. First thing the Jews, they know the Old Testament. They know that. And you ain't gonna tell the Jews, you're not gonna tell no Jews that it's some type of prophecy in the Old Testament about no Gnostic. You're not gonna say that. You're not gonna tell the Jews that it's a prophecy or prophecies about no damn Gnostic in the Old Testament. You're not going to say that. You're not going to tell them that. You're not going to say that. No. See, it's one thing that the Catholic Church, they know. The Messiah was prophesied. And the Jews know it too. Now the Jews, their position is that the Messiah has not come yet. And they still waiting on the Messiah. The Catholic Church position is this, that the Messiah has come and fulfilled the prophecy in the Holy Bible. That's what the New Testament, Holy Bible. Now the Jews, they don't believe that the Messiah has still come, has come. The Jews don't believe. So you're not going to tell the Jews the origin of Gnosticism is in the New Testament. You're not going to tell the Jews that the origin of Gnosticism that you read in the New Testament. You're not going to say that. First of all, you're not going to tell the Jews nothing about no Gnosticism, because they know the Old Testament, and then not just the Old Testament, the Torah. You're not going to tell the Jews that. You're not going to tell the Jews that, because them sages, just like we was talking about, Rabbi Akiva, one of the most respected Jewish rabbis in Jewish faith, has told, that's the reason why. He told you, do not let the Gnostic be an influence on Judaism. That's the reason why. Because it's nothing. As well as their Grecian philosophy. Because Gnosticism is nothing. You're not going to tell no Jew. You're not going to do that. You're not going to tell the Jew, the Jewish rabbi, that Gnosticism is in the Old Testament, is in the Torah. You're not going to say that. No, you're not. And see, the reason why I'm saying it, because what they tried to say, what they tried to claim, is something about the New Testament. You're not going to say that. See, first of all, you got to deal with the Jews. See, when the Catholic Church is professing that the Messiah, they're not leaving, the Catholic Church is not leaving out the Jews. You can't do nothing without the Old Testament. The Jews not being left out. They know the Old Testament. They know the Torah. You're not going to talk to the Jews that way and then get them to convert and then go get the Jewish rabbis to say that Jesus, the Catholic faith, believe in, is the Messiah. Gnostic, no. The Catholic Church is not finna do that. That's the reason why the Catholic Church do what they do. Because they not going, the Catholic Church is not, you're a heretic. Get straight to the point. You're a heretic. You're a heretic. Yeah. You're a heretic. So like I said, if we need to go back and refer to information like I'm doing now, it ain't no problem. Like I said, hey, the PhDs at college and university all over this earth, over this globe, over this planet, they do not know the origin of Gnosticism. Whatever that mess is you saying about a demiurge being flawed, whatever that mess is you saying about this other supreme being, whatever this mess you trying to say, it's a lie. It's all a bunch of made up lies. And then when they found that Dead Sea Scroll, took 10 years for them to gather all the information together totally. Took a total of 10 years to collect all the Dead Sea Scrolls. A lot of it was the Old Testament. So like I said, if it's necessary to refer to information, it's not a problem. We're going to continue to talk about prehistoric religion, traditional, ancient African religion, indefinitely. Now, prehistoric religion. Want to go over this artificial intelligence overview. You know, understand? You understand? The PhD. Now, the artificial intelligence overview. Prehistoric religion. Now, prehistoric religion. Now, the artificial intelligence overview. Prehistoric religion was characterized by animism, the belief that spirits inhabit natural objects and forces, and included rituals for hunting, fertility, and death, such as cave paintings, burial practices, and the creation of figurines like the Venus of Willendorf. Early evidence from the Middle Paleolithic period includes intentional burials, while later Neolithic societies developed more organized religion tied to settled agriculture, ancestor veneration, and elaborate shrines. Now, the key characteristics of prehistoric religion: animism, a belief system where spirits are seen as inherent in natural forces and objects, common among early hunter-gatherer societies. Rituals, hunting rituals. Practices like cave painting may have been intended to ensure hunting success. Fertility rituals, the creation of figurines like the Venus of Willendorf, and later a focus on a mother goddess, suggests fertility was a major concern for both reproduction and agriculture. Burial rituals, intentional burials with grave goods, such as those of the Neanderthals and early Homo sapiens, indicated belief in an afterlife or a need to honor the dead. Symbolism. The use of symbolism was a universal phenomenon seen in cave paintings and with objects like red ochre. Shamanism. The practice of shamans entering altered states of consciousness to communicate with spirits is believed to have emerged later in this period. Sacrifice. Evidence of offerings to the dead or to higher beings has been found, sometimes including animal bones. Evolution over time. Paleolithic and Mesolithic periods focused on hunting, magic, animism, and rudimentary burial rituals with symbolic objects. The Neolithic period, development of more organized religion linked to settled agriculture. Ancestor worship became more prominent, reinforcing social ties. The construction of shrines and temples, like at sites such as Catahoyuk, suggests organized religious activity. All right. Prehistoric religion is the religious practice of prehistoric cultures, prehistory, the period before written records, makes up the bulk of human experience. Over 99% of human experience occurred during the Paleolithic period alone. We talking about human. Prehistoric cultures span the globe and exist for over 2.5 million years. Their religious practices were many and varied, and the study of them is difficult due to the lack of written records describing the details of their faiths. Now let me just say this. Now we talking human, prehistoric religion. Humans evolved. So all these creatures that we evolved from, your common sense, the lower Paleolithic, all those creatures in the lower Paleolithic. And then we as humans evolved from where we evolved from during the Mesolithic. Let me click over. Let me see here. What is thing it? Oh, here we go. And what is doing the Miocene? That's what I was talking. The Miocene. During the Miocene. Okay, let me see here. But definitely it was during the Miocene that we as humans evolved from earlier apes. All right. So let me go back. All right. Prehistoric cultures span the globe and exist for over 2.5 million years. Their religious practices were many and varied, and the study of them is difficult due to the lack of written record describing the details of their faiths. The cognitive capacity for religion likely first emerged in Homo sapiens sapiens or anatomically modern humans. Although some scholars posit the existence of Neanderthal religion and sparse evidence exists for earlier ritual practice. Cognitive of relating to or being conscious intellectual activity as thinking, remembering, reasoning, or using language. Cognitive. Cognition. The process of gaining knowledge through thought, experience, and the senses. Cognition. Cognition. The process of gaining knowledge through thought, experience, and the senses. Cognition. Prehistory. Prehistory, also called pre-literary history, is the period of human history between the first known use of stone tools by hominids 3.3 million years ago and the beginning of recorded history with the invention of writing systems. The use of symbols, marks, and images appeared very early among humans, but the earliest known writing systems appeared 5,200 years ago. It took thousands of years for writing systems to be widely adopted, with writing having spread to almost all cultures by the 19th century. The end of prehistory therefore came at different times in different places, and the term is less often used in discussing societies where prehistory ended relatively recently. It is based on an old conception of history that without written records there could be no history. The most common concept today is that history is based on evidence. However, the concept of prehistory has not been completely discarded. In the early Bronze Age, Sumer in Mesopotamia, the Indus Valley Civilization, and ancient Egypt were the first civilization to develop their own scripts and keep historical record with their neighbors following. Most other civilizations reached their end of prehistory during the following Iron Age. The three-age division of prehistory into Stone Age, Bronze Age, and Iron Age remains in use for much of Eurasia and North Africa, but is not generally used in those parts of the world where the working of hard metals arrived abruptly from contact with Eurasian cultures, such as Oceania, Australia, and much of sub-Saharan Africa and parts of the Americas, with some exceptions in pre-Columbian civilizations. In the Americas, these areas did not develop writing systems before the arrival of Eurasians, so their prehistory reaches into relatively recent periods. For example, 1788 is usually taken as the end of the prehistory of Australia. The period when a culture is written about by others but has not developed its own writing system is often known as the proto-history of the culture. By definition, there are no written records from human prehistory, which can only be known from material, archaeological, and anthropological evidence, prehistoric materials, and human remains. These were at first understood by the collection of folklore and by analogy with pre-literate societies observed in modern times. The key step to understanding prehistoric evidence is dating. And reliable dating techniques have developed steadily since the 19th century. The most common of these dating techniques is radiocarbon dating. Further evidence has come from the reconstruction of ancient spoken languages. More recent techniques include forensic chemical analysis to reveal the use and provenance of materials, and genetic analysis of bones to determine kinship and physical characteristics of prehistoric peoples. Okay. Let me see what we prehistory and scroll. Okay. Let's see. Okay, Paleolithic. We was over here on Paleolithic, and then Paleolithic people, Homo erectus. Okay, so we over here on Homo erectus. I know I already read Paleolithic people, so we're gonna read Homo erectus. We over here on Paleolithic. When you click over from prehistoric religion, you click Paleolithic. That's why I've been reading. Now, I read Paleolithic people, so we over here on Homo erectus. At the beginning of the Paleolithic. Oh, hold on. What time? Oh yeah. Before I start reading, hold on. Make sure you don't forget the fields of science and math. Okay. Now we talk about formal science. Well, what I was trying to get the artificial intelligence overview on my tablet, but I have it on my desktop. Formal sciences. The artificial intelligence overview. Formal science studies disciplines concerned with abstract structures such as logic, mathematics, and theoretical computer science. Unlike empirical sciences that rely on observation and experimentation, formal sciences use deductive reasoning and formal systems, axioms, rules, and symbols to generate knowledge. These fields are foundational for other sciences as they provide the tools and systems used to model and understand the natural and social worlds. Key characteristics of formal science focus on abstract structure. It deals with concepts like numbers, shapes, algorithms, and logical systems that are not physical. Uses formal systems. Knowledge is built from a set of axioms and rules using deductive reasoning to prove theorems. A priori. Its validity does not depend on empirical evidence or observation of the real world. The truth is based on logic and proof. Foundation for other sciences. Formal science provides the essential quantitative and logical tools for the empirical sciences. Examples of formal sciences. Mathematics, the study of quantity, structure, space, and change. Logic, the study of valid reasoning. Statistics, the study of the collection, interpretation, and presentation of data. Theoretical computer science, the study of the theory of computation. Information theory, the study of the quantification, storage, and communication of information. Game theory, the study of mathematical models of strategic interactions among rational decision makers. Formal sciences. Mathematics. Now, the artificial intelligence overview. Mathematics is the study of abstract structures, patterns, and chains, using logic and deduction to discover and organize methods, theories, and theorems. It encompasses various fields like algebra, geometry, analysis, number theory, and statistics, and is essential in fields such as science, engineering, computer science, and finance. Mathematics can be broadly divided into pure mathematics, which focuses on theoretical concepts, and applied mathematics, which uses mathematical principles to solve real-world problems. Key aspects of mathematics. Abstract objects. Mathematics deal with abstract entities, which can be abstractions from nature or purely abstract concepts defined by axioms. Rigorous proof. Mathematicians use pure reason and deductive rules to prove properties of these objects, building upon established theorems and axioms. Problem solving. At its core, mathematics is about problem solving, developing critical thinking, and logical skills applicable to diverse challenges. Major fields of study. Algebra, the study of formulas, equations, and their related structures. Geometry, the study of shapes, spaces, and their properties. Analysis involves the study of continuous change, including concepts from calculus and differential equations. Number theory focuses on the properties of integers, such as prime numbers. Logic examines the foundations of mathematics and the principles of valid reasoning. Combinatorics deals with counting discrete objects and structures. Probability and statistics, the study of randomness, data analysis, and modeling unpredictable phenomena. Applications of mathematics. Mathematics is a foundational discipline with applications across numerous sectors. Science and engineering used to model physical phenomena, design systems, and analyze data. Computer science, essential for algorithms, theoretical computer science, and artificial intelligence. Finance, applied in financial modeling, risk management, and economic analysis. Social sciences, used to develop models for predicting behavior and analyzing social trends. Okay. Now, what I was looking at the artificial intelligence overview. It's a little bit different, but the mathematics in form of science. First of all, mathematics is a form of science. Okay, I'm going to read from my laptop. Mathematics is the foundation of formal science, providing the essential language and tools for other sciences like physics, chemistry, and biology to build models, analyze data, and make predictions, while other sciences are based on observation and experimentation. Mathematics relies on logical deduction from axioms to establish necessary truth through proof rather than empirical evidence. This allows mathematics to provide a rigorous and reliable framework for scientific inquiry. The core functions in science: modeling and theory building. Mathematics is used to formulate theories and create models that represent real-world phenomena. For example, physics uses mathematical equations to describe the behavior of matter and energy. Data analysis and interpretation. It provides the methods to analyze and interpret data, allowing scientists to identify patterns and draw meaningful conclusions from experiments. Prediction. Mathematical models enable scientists to make predictions about phenomena they are studying. If a prediction is inaccurate, it suggests the model needs to be revised. Not that the mathematical concepts are wrong. Rigor and reliability. The use of proof in mathematics ensures the correctness of its results within its own systems, which in turn adds rigor and reliability to scientific findings derived from it. The distinction from other sciences. Methodology. Empirical sciences rely on observation and experimentation to test hypotheses, while mathematics uses logical deduction from axioms to establish facts. Subject matter. The objects of study in natural sciences are observable entities in the physical world, whereas the objects of study in mathematics are abstract concepts like numbers, structures, and space. Falsifiability. In empirical science, a theory can be falsified by a counterexample or a failed experiment. In mathematics, a theorem can be disproven by a single counterexample, but its foundational axioms are not tested against reality in the same way. Okay, mathematical logic and set theory. And also, don't forget the branches of science: the formal sciences, natural sciences, and social sciences. So we in dealing with formal sciences, and we just did Okay. Okay, now we're on natural sciences. The artificial intelligence overview. All right. That might be a word a little bit different. I got the desktop and I got the laptop, so yeah. All right, I'm gonna read from my tablet. The natural science. Okay, say natural science and natural sciences. Okay. Well, I tell you what. I'm gonna read from my desktop here. Natural sciences. The artificial intelligence overview. The natural sciences are a field of study that systematically investigates the physical world and the laws that govern it. They are based on empirical evidence from observation and experimentation, and major branches include biology, life science, chemistry, physics, astronomy, and earth science. These disciplines aim to describe, predict, and understand natural phenomena through hypothesis testing and the creation of models. Major branches of natural science: life science, the study of living organisms. Biology includes a wide range of topics such as genetics, evolution, and human anatomy. Physical science, the study of matter and energy. Physics deals with matter, energy, force, and motion. Chemistry, the study of the composition, structure, properties, and reactions of matter. Astronomy focuses on celestial objects and phenomena in the universe. Earth science, the study of Earth and its components, includes fields like geology, meteorology, oceanography, and paleontology. The scientific process. The natural sciences rely on a rigorous systematic approach to build knowledge. This involves using observation, experimentation, and the collection of quantitative data to test hypotheses. Mechanisms such as peer review and repeatability help to ensure the validity of scientific advance. The goal is to provide evidence-based understanding of the natural world and its mechanism. Natural science. Okay, the artificial intelligence overview. Mathematics in natural sciences. Okay, it gets worded different. My desktop worded one way, and then my tablet words are different. Okay, well, I'm going to read my tablet. Mathematics and natural sciences. The artificial intelligence overview. Mathematics is considered the language of the natural sciences, providing the framework for understanding, modeling, and predicting natural phenomena from the microscopic to the cosmic. It is used in all scientific fields to create precise models and theories and to interpret data, allowing scientists to formulate hypotheses and make predictions that can be tested through observation and experimentation. The effectiveness of mathematics in describing nature is often called the unreasonable effectiveness of mathematics. Roles of mathematics in the natural sciences. Modeling phenomena. Math provides equations and formulas to describe and predict natural occurrences, such as population change, the path of a planet, or the behavior of waves. Formulating laws. It serves as a logical framework for physics, enabling science to express universal principles quantitatively. For example, Maxwell's equations help derive the wave equation, which then predicted the existence of electromagnetic waves. Data interpretation. In fields like biology and chemistry, mathematical models help interpret complex data from experiments and observations. Predictive power. Mathematical models allow scientists to make predictions about new phenomena, which can then be tested. If a prediction is inaccurate, it signals the need to change the model rather than invalidating the mathematical concepts themselves. The unreasonable effectiveness of mathematics, an enduring mystery, the precise and often elegant way in which mathematical concepts describe the universe is a profound and still debated topic in philosophy and science, known as the unreasonable effectiveness of mathematics. Not always so unreasonable. Some argue that the effectiveness is less mysterious when considering the history of mathematics, which was often developed to solve scientific problems. Other researchers suggest the effectiveness comes from the universe's inherent, surprisingly simple structure, not from a mystical connection, a tool for discovery. The application of mathematics can lead to new scientific discoveries, even before a phenomenon is observed. Maxwell's work predicted the existence of electromagnetic waves, which were later experimentally confirmed by Heinrich Hertz. Okay, the unreasonable effectiveness of mathematics in the natural sciences. Being that earth science is a natural science, mathematics in earth sciences. Now I'm going to read from my tablet. Sometimes it get worded different. Okay, mathematics is essential to earth sciences, providing the tools for quantitative analysis in fields like geology, oceanography, and geophysics. Applications range from using vectors to calculate the area of a solar roof in Darcy's law for fluid flow in soil to employing statistics and calculus for analyzing large data sets, modeling climate change, and understanding the Earth's processes through geomathematics. Key mathematical application in earth sciences. Geomathematics. This interdisciplinary field combines mathematics, statistics, and geoinformatics to analyze spatial data from earth sciences. It involves a collaborative approach between geologists, mathematicians, and statisticians to solve real-world problems. An early example is the use of the pi scale to quantitatively classify sediment grain sizes, which laid the foundation for mathematical geology, according to Springer. Physics and modeling vectors can be used for practical problems like calculating the amount of solar power that could be generated on a roof, as shown in NASA's Space Math program. Differential equations used to model various phenomena, including gas diffusion through rocks, river formation, and exponential growth. Notes. Stokes' law helps determine the settling speed of particles in a field, which is useful in analyzing soil composition. Darcy's law describes how fluid flows through a porous medium like saturated soil, a concept used in hydrogeology. Data analysis and interpretation. Statistics used for interpreting complex geochemical data. For instance, developing methods to analyze proportion samples and assisting in scientific diagnosis. Trigonometry, geometry, and calculus essential for tasks like cartography and analyzing data from sources like satellites. Satellite data, mathematical and physical interpretation is required to make sense of raw satellite data, which is then used to study the atmosphere, clouds, and trace gases. Geomorphology, stream power. This concept helps determine a river's ability to incise, which can predict changes in its course. Logarithms and scientific notation are common tools for handling the vast orders of magnitude in earth science. Geomathematics. social sciences. On this one, it look like on this one, the desktop and the laptop pretty much worded the same. All right, social sciences. Okay, social sciences are the academic disciplines that study human society and social relationships. They use scientific methods to understand how people behave individually and in groups, including topics like anthropology, sociology, economics, political science, and psychology. The purpose of social sciences is to explain the social world, providing insights into human behavior, and helping to address societal issues through research and critical thinking. Key aspects of social sciences: study of human behavior. Social sciences examine how individuals and groups act, interact, and are influenced by social and cultural aspects. Scientific methodology. Like natural sciences, social sciences use systematic research, often involving both quantitative and qualitative methods, to test hypotheses and draw conclusions. Major branches. The field is comprised of several key disciplines, including anthropology, the study of human societies and cultures; sociology, the study of social structures, social interaction, and social change; economics, the study of how societies produce, distribute, and consume goods and services; political science, the study of government, political processes, and behavior; psychology, the study of the human mind and behavior; real world application. The insights gained from social sciences are used to inform policy, guide social reforms, and help individuals and organizations make better decisions. They also provide critical thinking and communication skills valuable in various sectors such as government, business, and nonprofits. Understanding society. Social sciences help us understand complex issues like globalization, inequality, and political change, providing a framework to see how our lives are connected to larger social forces. Social science. Okay. Mathematics in social sciences. Mathematics provides the essential tools of modeling, statistics, and formal analysis to understand complex social phenomena, including economic interactions, political behavior, and societal trends. Social scientists use mathematical models to simplify real-world problems, analyze data, and make predictions about human behavior and societal structures. Fields like computational social science heavily rely on these quantitative methods to study large-scale interactions and intricate social systems. How math is used in social science. Modeling and representation. Mathematical models are used to create simplified, abstract representations of real-world social situations, helping to identify key components and relationships. Data analysis and prediction. Statistics and other mathematical techniques are used to analyze social data, test hypotheses, and generate predictions about social trends and behaviors. Understanding complex systems, calculus, and other advanced mathematical tools are applied to analyze complex systems in economics, psychology, and sociology to understand and predict changes in human behavior and societal dynamics. Formalizing social structure. Mathematics serves as a language and method for abstracting and analyzing the structures of society, from individual interactions to large-scale societal processes. Examples in specific social sciences. Economics. Mathematical models are central to analyzing market interactions and economic behavior. Political science, used to model voters' reactions to events and understand election dynamics. Sociology. Math helps analyze relationships between individuals and society and understand societal trends. Computational social science employs complex models like agent-based networks to understand opinion changes and other large-scale interactions. Key mathematical concepts used. Statistics, a fundamental tool for analyzing data and forming hypotheses. Calculus, used to analyze and model complex systems and understand continuous change in social processes. Game theory, a framework from mathematics used to study decision making in strategic interactions. Network analysis, a method to represent and analyze relationships and structures within social networks. All right, social science. Oh, okay, all right. Okay, let me see. Let's see which one is. Okay, there are a lot of social sciences, so I chose one today. Folklore studies. Folklore studies. So mathematics in folklore studies. Mathematics appears in folklore studies through two main lenses: computational folkloristics, which uses statistical and computational methods to analyze stories, and mathematical mythology, which examines the mathematical concepts embedded within traditional myths and folk tales. These applications allow scholars to find patterns, explore historical mathematics, and even use stories to teach basic math concepts to children. Computational folkloristics. Big data analysis. Scholars use computational tools to analyze large data sets of stories to find patterns, connections, and underlying structures, according to UCLA Newsroom. Algorithm use. Algorithms are employed to discover latent patterns in folk expressions to better understand how they generate meaning, as explained in the YouTube video. All right. Mathematical mythology and ethnomathematics. Mythological analysis. Researchers analyze myths for mathematical concepts. For example, the story of Dido in the Oxide demonstrates the isoperimetric theorem, which states that a semicircle encloses the largest area for a given parameter. The myth of Theseus in a Minotaur involves geometry, a labyrinth, and an algorithm, the string for navigation. Historical concepts studies can reveal the primitive mathematical worldview of ancient cultures through their folklore and mythology. Educational applications. Folk tales can be used as a tool to teach mathematical concepts such as counting and number sense to young children. Examples in practice. The giant turnip, the repetitive structure of the Russian folktale. The giant turnip can be used to teach concepts like addition and sequences. The goodnight gecko, this Hawaiian folktale, is used in a curriculum to teach young children about one less, as the baby gecko goes from 5 reasons for being afraid to 0. Ethnomathematics, the study of how different cultures use mathematics, including systems of finger counting, is considered a form of mathematical folklore and can involve analyzing the math and cultural practices. Mathematical folklore. Ethnomathematics. Now, applied sciences. I didn't forget. Now, the artificial intelligence overview. Applied sciences. Applied science is the branch of science that uses existing scientific knowledge to solve practical problems and create practical applications like technology inventions and new treatments. Unlike pure science, which focuses on understanding fundamental principles, applied science prioritizes finding real-world solutions through hands-on methods and systematic problem-driven research. Examples include developing new refrigerants to solve an environmental issue, using scientific knowledge to improve medical treatments, or applying physics and computer science to create new technologies. Definition: applied science is the practical application of scientific knowledge to solve specific problems. It differs from basic science, which seeks to build and organize knowledge for its own sake. Purpose: its goal is to create useful, tangible outcomes such as new technology inventions and improvements in areas like engineering, healthcare, and medicine. Like I said, I didn't forget. Methodology: it involves applying scientific principles to real-world situations, often through hands-on experience, lab work, and applied research. This can include project-based learning and collaboration with industry partners. Fields: examples of applied science fields include food service, forensic science, biomedical science, and various branches of engineering. Benefits: applied science provides practical skills for careers in STEM and technology, enhances problem-solving ability, and leads to tangible benefits for society. Applied science. Okay. Mathematics in applied science uses mathematical methods to solve real-world problems in fields like engineering, physics, biology, and computer science. It involves developing mathematical models, creating computational tools, and applying techniques like systems and control theory to understand and predict phenomena. Applied math is essential for scientific advancement, technological innovation, and addressing challenges across various disciplines. Key aspects of mathematics in applied science. Problem solving. It translates complex problems from other disciplines into mathematical terms and using mathematical techniques to find solutions. Modeling and prediction. It focuses on creating mathematical models to explain phenomena and predict future outcomes such as in weather forecasting or disease spread. Interdisciplinary collaboration. It bridges the gap between theoretical mathematics and practical application, fostering collaboration between mathematicians, scientists, engineers, and other specialists. Development of new methods is not only applies existing mathematical tools, but also develops new ones to meet the challenge presented by new problems. Computational tools. The development of computational tools and numerical analysis techniques is crucial for solving complex mathematical problems that are difficult to solve analytically. Examples of application: engineering, systems and control theories used in applications like cruise control in cars, in automatic pilot systems in aircraft. Biology. Applied math helps in understanding biological processes and the coordinated movements of organisms like bird murmurations, which can inform the design of swarming robots. Physics. It is used to study celestial phenomena such as the processes within stars and the movement of planets. Computer science. It is fundamental to developing algorithms and understanding concepts in machine learning and artificial intelligence. Applied mathematics. Okay. Now, when you say basic sciences or basic sciences, and we read from the artificial intelligence overview, basic sciences are fields of study including physics, chemistry, biology, and mathematics. They explore fundamental principles to understand the world and universe with the goal of expanding knowledge and forming foundational theories for more applied fields like engineering and medicine. These sciences are driven by curiosity to answer questions about natural and social phenomena, focusing on underlying mechanisms and processes rather than immediate practical applications. Key characteristics. Fundamental focus. Basic science aims to discover and understand the basic laws and principles that govern natural phenomena. Curiosity driven. Research in basic science is often motivated by a desire to solve fundamental puzzles and comprehend how things work. Foundation for applied science. The knowledge gained from basic science serves as the foundation for applied fields such as engineering, medicine, and technology. Broad scope. Basic science encompasses natural sciences like physics, chemistry, biology, astronomy, earth science, social sciences, understanding human behavior, and formal sciences like mathematics. Examples of basic sciences and questions. Biology. How do cells work? How do genes influence traits? Chemistry. What are the fundamental building blocks of matter? And how do they interact? Physics. What are the fundamental rules governing energy, motion, and forces? Neuroscience. How do different parts of the brain form circuits to perform complex tasks? Social science. What are the mechanisms of human behavior and social structures? Why it matters. Expands knowledge. Basic science contributes to humanity's collective body of knowledge, fostering intellectual fulfillment and understanding, drives innovation. Breakthroughs in basic science often lead to new technology, treatments, and techniques in applied fields. Answers big questions. It provides the insight needed to address complex challenges and understand the universe on a deeper level. Basic research, also called pure research, fundamental research, basic science, or pure science. Okay, mathematics and basic sciences. The artificial intelligence overview. Mathematics is the fundamental language of science used to describe, model, and analyze natural phenomena across all basic sciences, including physics, chemistry, and biology. It provides the tools for critical thinking and for interpreting data by using concepts like algebra, geometry, calculus, and statistics to formulate theories, make predictions, and draw conclusions. Essential skills for scientific work include basic arithmetic, handling percentages and ratios, and using scientific notation, while more advanced fields require calculus and differential equations. Key roles of mathematics and basic sciences. Modeling phenomena. Mathematics is used to create models of how things work in the natural world, allowing scientists to make predictions about their behavior. Data analysis, statistics, and other mathematical tools are used to analyze experimental data, especially when working with large data sets or sampling from a population. Formulating theories, scientists use mathematical processes to formulate theories and principles such as the laws of physics or the equations describing chemical reactions. Problem solving. Mathematics provides the framework for solving problems in all scientific disciplines, from basic calculations to complex differential equations. Communication. It serves as a precise and universal language for communicating complex scientific ideas and findings clearly and unambiguously. Examples in specific sciences. Physics uses algebra, calculus, and differential equations to describe the behavior of matter and energy, from classical mechanics to quantum mechanics. Chemistry employs mathematics to analyze chemical reactions, calculate molecular properties, and balance equations. Biology uses mathematics for genetics, population dynamics, and modeling biological systems through statistical analysis and mathematical models. Computer science relies heavily on discrete mathematics, algorithms, and logic to develop software and analyze data. Essential mathematical skills: basic arithmetic, addition, subtraction, multiplication and division, fractions, decimals and percentages, ratios and proportions, unit conversions and scientific notation, algebraic manipulation, including solving equations, graphing and data interpretation, geometry and trigonometry, statistics for data analysis and inference. Mathematics. Then you got time. Include Planck units. Then you got deep time and space time. And then you had an origin of life or a biogenesis. And you had the history of life. And you had an origin of life timeline. Human evolution. And a timeline of human evolution. That's the reason why all these fields of science, the branches of science, formal sciences, natural sciences, social sciences, as well as applied sciences, and then basic sciences, and mathematics. So like I said, we're going to continue to talk about prehistoric religion, traditional, ancient African religion, indefinitely. In order to comprehend what's being said, you have to understand that the branches of science, formal sciences, natural sciences, social sciences, applied sciences, basic sciences, and mathematics are used for prehistoric religion, traditional, ancient African religion. Because there ain't no way in the world you could be talking about the Bronze Age, the Stone Age, then the Bronze Age, and then the Iron Age. You couldn't do that. You couldn't even talk about the Paleolithic, because there's so much information, too much information. You couldn't even deal with the PhD with trying to deal with a stone tool. You couldn't deal with a stone tool. Or you couldn't deal with a tool, period. Hunting and gathering. You couldn't deal with it. See, there's so much science involved. The hunting and gathering ritual. You couldn't even deal with it. You couldn't even deal with finding what they talk about, a skull. Because you wouldn't know what, where, when, why, how, or anything without the fields of science and mathematics, which is a form of science. And talking about time, you could not have any comprehension of time without the fields of science and mathematics. The fields of science and mathematics are very, very important. Very important. Cannot be overlooked, cannot be disregarded. The fields of science are key. You have to have understand, you have to be able to comprehend the fields of science, formal sciences, natural sciences, social sciences, as well as the applied science and basic sciences, which is, when you say basic sciences, chemistry and physics and so on and so forth. And mathematics, which is a form of science. You got to be able to comprehend, you got to be able to understand. When we're talking about the earth, not just how old the earth is, we're talking about the composition. Where are we and what is earth? You can even think in your brain where, when, why, how, without the fields of science and mathematics, because mathematics is a language. You got to have mathematics because mathematics is a language. It's important. Cannot be overlooked. Oh, okay. Yeah. And so, like I was saying, can't stress it enough. Science, the fields of science are very important because when we talk about prehistoric religion, like they were saying about prehistory, Who you talking about? Well, you couldn't have been talking about the gibbons. You couldn't have been talking about the gorilla. You couldn't have been talking about the orangutan. See, it's important that we say these things about prehistory. We're talking about human experience. Human. Not just a hominin. It don't include the chimpanzee or the bonobo. Human. It's so important to understand the fields of science. We're talking about evolution. And the history of the timeline of evolution. It's important in order to manufacture the tools necessary to talk about the time, how old this earth is, how old this universe is, and all the life forms on this earth that are in existence, and those that have existed. There are many creatures that have gone extinct. How would we even know about those creatures? Some of those creatures went extinct in the Paleolithic. In prehistoric times, some life went extinct in the Paleolithic. How would you even know if it weren't for the fields of science? How would you even know about evolution without the fields of science and mathematics? So we're going to continue to talk about prehistoric religion, traditional, ancient African religion. And mathematics. Oh yeah, I was just looking at some of the science thing. Well, I'm trying to limit to about 8 more minutes. It'll be 3 hours on my YouTube video. When we get ready to end today's video, again, my name is Eric D. Johnson. I was on my BrightShine right here in the city of Memphis, in the county, sheriff, state of Tennessee. Thank my family, my support for you, continue to support. And thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, Son of God, for all the blessings and the guidance He provides all with. And continue to pray about, natural disasters, because that's what they are. They're disasters, and they happen naturally. And so just continue to pray and pray about these wars that are being fought. It's pretty bad. Wars being fought, people being forced. First, people are being killed in wars, and people are being displaced because of the war. And when people are being displaced, refugee camps, and that's not, there are people living on this earth, man, that have been living. First of all, they were born and have been living in a refugee camp practically all their life. I'm talking about from the time they were born, conceived in a refugee camp, their mother and father, their parents, being born, and then having to live in a refugee camp. Never being able to have a life. You can't go nowhere outside that refugee camp. You can barely even move in the refugee camp, because whoever you're running from could shoot, could destroy the refugee camp. But international law and things in there is what protects all of us as human beings when nations fight wars. You have rules about the war. So continue to pray about these wars. And so that the war ends. Because we don't want people to take sides. We want people to work toward peace. That's what the United Nations is for. They try to bring warring nations together, come to the table to sit down and let's work these issues out peaceably. Not have to turn to war to address issues. Let's come to the bargaining table. Let's come to the peace table and let's talk these issues out. And there won't be any more bloodshed. And so let's just continue to pray without ceasing. And and before I end today's video, I'm still my mind still focused on working on music, entertainment, things of this nature. And this is the time, to inform, you know what I'm saying? People be informed. And so, it ain't no rush or anything, because like I said from the beginning, first of all, you know, give people no opportunity, man. It's about opportunity. We're not trying to commit no crime or anything. If it have to sit down and explain, well, that's not a problem. Because first of all, I'm sitting right here. It ain't nothing we can't explain. You know, ragtime, jazz, blues, and all the. Because jazz, you got what, swing, blues. There's so many basic different regions, other nations, other countries when it comes to blues. But then you got boogie woogie, which is the blues and R&B and soul came from gospel and blues. So if we need to sit down, ain't no problem. So we talking about music and everything, and then rock and roll, what blues. That's where it came. I mean, Muddy Waters, for example, him and the Rolling Stones. So you know, hey, rock and roll wouldn't be rock and roll without Muddy Waters, without the blues, Aretha Franklin, Ray Charles. It wouldn't be no rock and roll if it wasn't for the blues. Wouldn't be no rock and roll if it wasn't for blues. Chuck Berry. Wouldn't be no rock and roll without the blues. Period. Then you got disco and funk, same thing. It would be no disco, it would be no funk without the blues. You know, blues is important. And we can sit down and we can talk about it and everything, but you know, and then I don't even want to have to look what they call it, hip hop, sampling other people's, sampling jazz music, sampling blues music, sampling classic R&B music. Then you call it what? What you call it? Hip hop, rap. You done took so many other people's music. Just like when I'm listening to Barry White, deep Barry White, that masculine voice. Hey baby, you know what I'm saying? Then you hear that dum 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 dum. But I mean, that's when I'm listening to Barry White, man, I don't want to hear no rap. I'm listening to Barry White, putting it down on this woman, you know what I'm saying? Practice what you preach, you know what I'm saying? I ain't listening to no rap. I'm rapping to, if it's gonna be some rapping, I'm gonna be rapping to this woman, man. To this Barry White, But, they took Barry White's music, and so many others, so many others. I don't even want the bars out, switch, that's a cool man. Switch made some cool music, at the very beginning. I Call Your Name, Girl. Is that your real name? Rest in peace, to the bars and everything, and but I mean, that's cool, how the song was done, everything wrote, and then the music is the instrumental is good. Then here come the lyrics, all that, So, and it, just it's just original music is just that original. I would listen to some Roy Ayers and just all kind of individuals. They make just good music. And then when you hear the song, like I said, sometimes I can be listening to WDIA because I'm here in the city of Memphis. WDIA AM. That's an AM station. One of the original stations in America. WDI for black owned radio. I don't think it was black owned. It might have been black owned, but for urban station, WDIA, and sometimes I'll be listening blues music. Sometimes they play R&B, whatever, and then sometimes I D101, R&B and throwbacks, and then next thing I'll be on Hop 107 or something, some hip hop or something, K97, same thing. Because when I was a kid, K97 been around for some years though. I grew up. That was one of the stations that was here at K97. So I pretty much grew up with K97. And and then church stations like WLOK. That's a black owned radio station because they got FM and AM, WLOK. And then then they got this new religious church. Don't think like I don't listen. It might not be a everyday, but don't never think like hallelujah. What I think it's 96 something, but radio station play gospel music. Hallelujah something hallelujah something 96. No, I think it's 95 point something somewhere around there. Then some days I'd be like 103.5 WRBO, because sometimes sometimes it might not be the music. Sometimes I might be listening to Steve Harvey, in the morning time, sometimes, and, then daytime I catch, I think D.L. Hughley on there on WRBO 103, in the evening time. And so, every now and then, may not be, every day, but, and then, we got the 87.7, classic R&B, soul, I listen to that. And then you'll hear something, I catch something. I'll be like, yeah. Because, sometimes, stuff, like I said, man, sometimes the instrumental can be familiar, and sometimes you listen to K97 or Hot 107 or throwbacks, and then I'll be like, oh, I heard something. But, and then, then they got this new station. Matter of fact, I was up last night, just happened to been listening to Power 104.1, the source. I just happened to been up last night. I said, man, turn the station. And no, they play some good music, you know what I'm saying? Play some good music. Southern soul. Then of course they'll throw some R&B and something like that, and R&B or soul song, But the blues, whatever. But they play some good music, So I be out, Then I get motivated. I got motivated, want to pick that pen and pad up. But I'm still, like I said, this is a time when people be informed. Cause when I leave my video, I'm still doing the same thing. Cause see, when people try to lie and try to hinder your success, I wasn't finna hear that. So I make my video for various reasons, but one other reason, I wasn't finna let nobody, you ain't gonna stand in my way lying. Cause now people see people were going around lying about some Gnostic as well as some so-called fake polytheists with some false polytheism. So, and trying to broadcast anal sex. Hey, I'm heterosexual. I'm not bisexual. I ain't gay or none of that other trans stuff. None of that. Queer. None of that. Binary. None of that. So you can make up all these lies you want, so you can, because you're trying to have some kind of same sex. Hey, No, not me. I like women. I like women. I'm telling you, I like women. That's the other reason why, because I like women, you know. Period. None of that. No, none of that. No, not that bisexual stuff. None of that saying and say, no. I like women, you know. I'm heterosexual, you know. Hey, none of that. But then I get a little joke in every now and then, you know. But you know, hey, that's the reason why I did it, because it's the same thing. It means the same thing, you know. It means the same thing. That's the reason why I did it. And sometimes you know, every now and then I do it, but the point is this: you're doing the same thing for the same reason. So another reason why I made my video, that's the reason why I keep that visual. You stay current. You know, people don't lose contact with you, and you don't lose contact with other people. You stay in contact with, you know, you keep that visual. People constantly seeing you, and then they seeing the positive thing. You're not doing nothing negative. You're doing things positive. You ain't doing nothing negative. In and everything that I do is positive. It wasn't me who tried to lie. I'm trying to expose the people who tried to lie. That's what I've been doing. Expose the people who tried to lie. You know, that's what I've been doing. And it ain't just for me. I think about my mom and dad. I think about when they was alive. See, people tried to lie. They tried to lie, and they still trying to lie today. You know, they still try to lie. But like I said, you know, sometimes I get a joke in, you know. But the reason why I do it, hey, I'm doing it for the same reason, you know. Hey, you know. Just like I talk about Lil Chubby, you know, Lil Chubby, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know, Lil Chubby, you know, she, you know. You know, there's Lil Chubby, you know, hey, she, you know, hey. The Kroger grocery store, they got some green beans on sale. Damn! The Kroger grocery got some green beans for sale. Oh boy. Lil Chubby, you been back there doing the try-on haul. Shut your damn mouth! I thought I heard some music back there. Lil Chubby, you gonna get the bikini over Lil Chubby. Okay, look, I ain't finna go no further. Look, I ain't going no further. I'm finna stop right there. But I'm coming back on my next video. We're gonna continue with prehistoric religion, traditional ancient African religion, in depth, and mathematics, the fields of science and mathematics, the fields of science and mathematics. And so it's indefinite, because you couldn't have the fields of science and mathematics, you know, and not understand time and all the things, you know, life, abiogenesis, the origin of life, the timeline of life, evolution, in the timeline of evolution. You have to have all fields of science and mathematics. And on that note, take care of yourself. Wish each and every one of you the very best.